Hello, statistics students of mine. I made this quickie video to show you what you should be studying for this midterm. This is a midterm review, and the following subjects are what you will be tested on. First thing is variables. You got to know the difference between a quantitative or a qualitative variable. A quantitative variable is any variable that is basically measured with numbers. And that's what most variables are, right? And some examples are, weight, IQ, shoe size, how old you are, how much money you make, that kind of thing, where a number makes sense. Okay, that's a quantitative variable. You also got to know what a qualitative variable, and that is measuring qualities or characteristics of somebody or something. And what it does is it puts each subject into a specific group. Good examples are gender, ethnicity, political party, whether you're right-handed or left-handed, what color car you drive, where a number doesn't really make any sense. Got it? So like if you had an ethnicity set of data and you took a mean of that ethnicity and you got something like 2.3, that would make absolutely no sense whatsoever. So remember, quantitative, you can measure it with numbers. Qualitative, you put it in groups. You can also put qualitative in high, medium, and low groups. That's kind of a little bit of an advanced thing, but you could take numbers like, let's take annual salaries, and you could split them into groups by high, medium, and low if you want to. That's true for any regular continuous variable, scale variable. All right, moving on. You got to know your histograms. Histograms are important in statistics. And it looks like that. So remember, the big difference between a histogram and a bar graph is the x-axis has intervals or ranges here, right? So anybody between 0 and 0.2, there were 60 of them. Between 0.2 and 0.4, there were 20 of them, et cetera, et cetera. So you're going to get questions like, how many people scored between 0.4 and 0.6? So you just go up here and where it crosses on the y, so that would be 100. 100 people scored between 0.4 and 0.6. How many scored between 0.8 and 0.1? That would be 60, that kind of thing. And then there is one toughie on there. It looks something like this. What percent is greater than 0.6? So you notice it says percent here. These aren't percents. These are numbers. These are counts. So what you do is you count how many are greater than 0.6. That's going to be your part. And you're going to divide by how many people there are total. So let's do the whole first. So how many people total are there? There's 60 plus 20 is 80 plus 100 is 180 plus 80 is 260 plus another 60 is 320. So you got 320 people total. And your part is what percent? I'm sorry, greater than 0.6. So greater than 0.6, you got 80 plus 60 is 140. Simply do some math. That comes out to be that kind of percent. So watch out for that problem. That's probably the hardest one on there. It's kind of sneaky. You got to know about stem plots to a lesser degree. Stem plots aren't really used that much anymore. But let me show you just to be on the safe side. So here's a stem plot. These numbers out here are the stems, and these are the leaves. So it's just a quick way to write a bunch of numbers without repeating yourself. So these numbers here, I just wrote the first one of each column, right? 34084 is that one. 33045 is that one. But we could also have written 33565, 33739. So the way this is set up, we just don't have to repeat ourselves with the leading digits here. And again, not that important. Box plots, very important. So a box plot splits up the data into quartiles, into 4 equal-sized chunks, right? They can either go up and down or they can go right and left. But you got to remember that the bottom number value here is the minimum. The top number is the maximum. The middle number in the box here is the median. And this bottom of the box line here, this is quartile 1, and the top of the box is quartile 3. So you have to get that information from a data set and plot it accordingly. And then you're going to get some questions that look like this. So remember, again, these are the quartiles. So you're going to get a question like 25% of everybody earned under how much? If this was annual salaries here, this was teacher salaries data a long time ago. Right? This is your minimum. This is your first quartile. In other words, 25% of the data is going to be under 29,000. Or you might get a question like, what's the cutoff for 75%? So 75% of the people made roughly 32,000 or below, and in the top 25%, the distance between the top of the box and that line right there, that would have been your top quartile, and that would be between 32,000 and roughly 32,500. Close, but no cigar. But that's a box plot, and the importance of it. You got to know that standard deviations are the square root of the variance, and therefore they're always positive. That's a gimme. You're welcome. Empirical rule. This is also known as this one, 68, 95, 99.7% rule. So remember this, this is really, really important. Number one is the data has to be normal. I think that's a question in there somewhere. And in other words, 68% plus or minus the mean plus or minus 1 standard deviation, 95% plus or minus 2 standard deviations from the mean, and 99.7 plus or minus 3 standard deviations of the mean. Now, I'm going to show you again here, and if you're not getting it here, you can watch the other videos on the Hawk, on our Moodle, and I'm going to give you a working example. So again, there's the mean plus 1 standard deviation, 2, 3, minus 1 standard deviation, minus 2, 3. So I'm giving you real numbers. So the mean is going to be 5, right? That's that line right up here. So in other words, half the data will be less than 5, half the data will be greater than 5 because the mean cuts the data in half. And there's all the minus 1 standard deviation, minus 2 standard deviations, minus 3 standard deviation. There's plus 1, plus 2, plus 3 standard deviations. And again, we're just pretending. So I can say right off the bat, between 4 and 6, that's going to be 68% of your data. So in other words, practically 2/3 of your data should be between the values of 4 and 6. Between 3 and 7, right? That's 2 standard deviations away from the mean. Should be 95% of your data. And then between 2 and 8 should be practically all of your data, 99.7% of your data. But now, what percent is less than 2? So it's going to be 100 minus that, which gives you 0.3%, and you divide it by 2 because it's symmetrical. So this area to the left of 2 that's less than 2 is 0.3% divided by 2. And again, greater than 8 is 0.3 divided by 2. And that's how all this stuff works. Just again, play around with this before you have to take it on the midterm. Okay, next is, here are all the Excel formulas for everything that you need to do in this midterm. Here's all the Excel formulas. I did put it online. It's right next to the test itself. So there's the formulas for Excel that you should be able to answer all the questions with. Just make sure you're using the right one. In fact, please practice them before you take the midterm. And that's what the homework is and the guided homework is. And watch all the videos, etc., etc. And last but not least are the correlations. And correlations also come with scatter plots and the best fit regression lines. And you got to come up with the equation of that, but you let Excel do that. But now I just did these on our Moodle. I made a bunch of videos and put them on Moodle. Let me show you those. So go to week 3 on our Moodle. Go down to the guided homeworks. Right here's one right here. So example 1, how to do scatter plots, correlations, and here's the videos on how to do it. Right? Let me open up that video. And you're lucky this one's got a bunch of videos, but practice that one. Let me pull up another one. Here's another good practice one with all the correlation stuff you need to know. Let me open that one up for you. And here that one is. But again, I'm not going to put these videos, just watch them as is, okay? So, but again, everything that you're about to be tested on is here, research-wise. I'm sorry, practice-wise. So just practice, practice, practice. Watch all the videos. Got it? Okay, that's about it for me. So all I got to do now is just tell you guys, study, 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 practice, practice, practice before you take that midterm. You have until Monday to take the midterm, so you still got a week. But, you know, the best practice is the homework stuff. Watch the videos over and over again because you only get one shot on that test. And I wish you all the best of luck. So again, if you get stuck on anything, don't hesitate to email me. And that's it. Stay cool. It's really hot out there, but study this stuff. You guys will be fine. All right. MGZ out.